It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Kristi Lee, Josh Arnold, Ace Cosby, Pat Godwin, Willie Griswold, and Tom Griswold.
Here's someone that hasn't figured it out. A man in New Zealand attempted to cook a steak in his toaster.
Nothing wrong with this.
The man decided to prepare a meal of steak and chips, but opted to cook the steak in the toaster rather than a frying pan.
Idiot.
That started a fire that destroyed his house.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have guessed that would happen.
And now
What?
he reportedly is upset his fire insurance policy will not pay out as much as he had wanted it to.
Do you get the garlic bread? The frozen garlic bread, you put that in your toaster, man.
What?
1, 2, 3. You don't have to put it in your oven. You put it in your toaster, and you toast it just like a piece of bread. It heats it up
Frozen?
perfectly.
Frozen.
Yes.
So is there something
Yes.
that prevents
Are you serious?
that prevents gravity from taking
Yes.
the cheese down into the burning?
Or the buttery.
There's just butter on it. There's not cheese on. Well, you can get cheese on it, but I didn't have cheese on it. But yeah, you put it in the toaster.
Wasn't there a
Mix it
thing
up
where
real nice.
people were putting their toasters on the side?
Yes. What were they cooking again?
Grilled cheese. Grilled
And
cheese.
it's apparently incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, would
No,
not
it
do
just
that.
makes good sense.
No, a member of our staff, and I don't want to mention his name, it was Jeff. He came in this morning when he saw that story, and he explained that when he was a kid, would it be better if he told the story?
No, well, if you tell it, there'll be less stuttering.
Okay.
What's wrong with you?
You know what? We're going to have to. If we
The Jeff
hang on a second, can we schedule the fights after the show? Like, as far as
I'm waiting for him to barge in.
right now, we've got 2 fights coming up.
Tom and Pat.
Tom and Pat's the main card. That's gotta be.
We go on later. You guys open for us.
Griswold.
In this corner.
Oskay was a kid. I'm trying to remember the story, Jeff. I think he said he was 8 years old, maybe 10, and he decided to make breakfast in bed for his parents.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's
So
nice.
he decided but he wasn't allowed to use the cooktop.
Is
So he
anybody else
decided-
picturing a little Jeff with a beard, though? Still?
Yes. Very heavy beard.
Oh, yeah.
So Mr. Oskay, apparently, so young Jeff, he wasn't allowed to use the cooktop. So being a good boy, he wanted to make them some eggs. So he put the frying pan on top of the toaster. And then he kept having to press it down again to get the heat to come back. And eventually he decided to duct tape it so it stayed down. Then he decided that he wanted to deliver the eggs with a newspaper. So he went out front to get the newspaper, came back in, and the kitchen was on fire. And he, I believe, said four of the cabinets were burned.
Oh, no.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So the point of the story is toasters are designed to
toast bread.
To toast bread primarily.
Or Pop-Tarts.
And apparently Pop-Tarts. Welcome back to the Bob and Tom show. Sorry, I looked up and something is strange. That's not Josh sitting there.
Well, Josh can't make it in because I just got done stammering all over his face.
That's Jeff Oskay joining us in the studio. Jeff is behind the scenes. I want to thank Jeff for being part of our special comedy show Friday with Patty G and Willie G. Raised $10,000 to help send some kids to summer camp. Thank you very much, Jeff. Now, Jeff ordinarily works behind the scenes doing lots of different things. Very fine writer, very fine comedian, and camera operator. And I was trying to retell the story you told me this morning. We had a story about a guy, and I believe it was in New Zealand, who set his house on fire by putting a steak in the toaster.
Right.
And as it was sitting in there vertically, of course, it set the house on fire. And I told your story that you told me about setting your parents' house on fire.
Right. Well, it was just the kitchen.
Just the kitchen on fire.
It wasn't the entire...
Yeah,
But you were a little kid. How old were you?
I was 7, 8, and I was trying to make him breakfast in bed. I wasn't allowed to use the stove, but I was allowed to use the toaster.
Sure.
And I figured if you put a pan on top of the toaster and keep heating it up, then the pan gets hot, you can cook some eggs.
Okay, yeah.
Except for where it has like a little thing so that it won't stay down if it gets too hot.
Okay, yeah.
But I found out like a piece of tape will fix that. So I taped it down. And then when I went out to get the paper, I came back in and the kitchen was on fire.
Yeah. What'd you learn?
According to the fireman, those crumbs that fall down into your toaster get highly flammable, especially when you cover the vents on the top.
So as a general rule, the toaster is really primarily designed to make toast.
Right. Yeah.
English muffins. There's some variant.
And I had heard you're always supposed to unplug your toaster. You're never supposed to leave it plugged in.
Oh, you guys, look at this. Look who's walking in now. It's our friend Josh Arnold. He's got an ice pack.
Josh was clocked.
Got the ice pack.
First
The
aid
entire first aid kit.
Okay, you're going to be okay.
Jeff's walking out victorious.
Now, Josh, I asked if Josh could tell the story, and you said...
no, if Jeff could tell the story.
I'm sorry, if Jeff could tell it, and Josh, you said what? As long as you want someone to stammer through it?
Yeah, I said if you tell it, there'll be less stuttering. Yeah, Jeff did not take kindly to that.
Okay.
I bet not.
Earlier in the week at Yankee Stadium, Los Angeles Angels pitcher Dylan Bundy seemed to be struggling to pitch in the 90-degree temperatures, with broadcasters noting a waterfall dripping off of his hat.
That's right, Phil.
They were speculating that possibly he'd seen the new movie In the Heights, but no. Midway through the second inning, Bundy began to projectile vomit around the pitcher's mound before being pulled in by trainers going, hey, you can't vomit on television. This ain't a game show, okay?
Maybe too much dip.
Man. Can you imagine?
That's rough.
Vomiting right there.
Pat, you have a little tribute to...
I do indeed.
Well, this is Yankee Stadium, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. I got sick at the ball game. I blew chunks on the mound. It was 90 degrees as I tried to pitch. I projectile vomited, son of a... But at least I struck out the batter. He swung at my lunch, not the ball. Yes, it's 1, 2, 3 chunks, you're out. Man, that sure smells foul. Foul ball.
Thank you very much. Pat Godwin joins us from the Oxford Gold Performance Room. Are they still going with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim? Blah blah blah. Are they?
I think the Anaheim's implied. I don't think they've
Right, just LAA.
big deal.
It's kind
out
of
it.
faded now.
Yeah.
Yep.
They've given up on that ruse.
They still play at the Big A town in Anaheim is what they call it.
That's...
Of course, when they play the San Francisco Giants, they refer to them as the oversized.
Wow.
Huh? Nobody?
Quite embarrassing having to puke, especially on the mound. If you... I mean, if you were in, I don't know, right field, you could walk over to the wall.
You ever vomited in front of somebody?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Was it a relationship?
Mine is famous. We were up in, let's see, it was, Tim Wilson was driving my Suburban because I couldn't drive. I was so sick. We had a gig that night, and I never even I barely got on stage. I was so sick.
You were sick in the car with Tim driving.
Tim driving my Suburban, puking out the window on the interstate.
And Tim was talking about conspiracies.
Oh, yeah.
That or Southern Rock.
Tim was going into something.
Bobby Whitlock.
Yeah.
But
Tim
ended up liking that Suburban so much, he ended up getting his own. Which was because, as you know, Tim would drive everywhere.
Yeah.
He didn't. Remember you guys were doing one gig, and he got confused about how far away it was.
Texas. He had no idea Texas was as
big as it was.
Wide as it is.
So instead of taking the plane,
honest to gosh, he got off the stage on, let's say, Friday night
and
walked on the stage on Saturday evening at like 6:30.
And he'd been in the car. He'd been in the car the entire time.
Been in the car. Gave us. Took everybody's phone number because he was going to be driving through the desert with his son, and you should be worried.
Yeah.
But Tim, who was almost all the time driving, usually by himself, got himself a Suburban, which is, I have one. It's because it seats whatever. What does it seat? 8 people.
Sure.
So if you're going to do it, be driving solo. You really don't. What? Hey, I guess you like what you like.
You like buying gas?
Yeah. It's actually not too bad.
No, but I mean, for one person.
I could, in that Suburban, I'd get Willie and the guys in the car. We could get all the way to Harbor Springs in one tank.
Well, it's because the tank is as big as the Suburban.
Sure. That's because the Chevrolet people know what they're doing.
Right, yeah.
I don't want to go into another vehicle. Another vehicle that I had that
Never heard of Harbor Springs.
You could barely get between gas stations.
What's the best part about the Suburban? What you always said, you remember?
The best part of it is it has the what do you call it?
Drink holders?
The drink holders.
Where those are placed,
they pioneered the high quality gigantic drink holders.
Okay.
Don't you hate that? I bet some of your cars,
Yeah.
Kristi, they have these little teensy drink holders, and well, they're only designed to hold Fuji water, so they're
I
square.
have cars that don't even have drink holders.
No.
I love my little tiny car so much so I backed into it. And that has those little tiny laugh about it cup holders that you just,
Remember the little plastic deals you'd have to put in the window? You'd hang in the window?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, oh, man.
You know that guy's like the Velcro shoe guy. He said, I'm going to sell 10 million of
Nailed
these.
it.
Nailed it.
There will never be a, what's that?
Shoelace.
Damn it!
They're putting them
So the question was, have you ever barfed in front of anybody? Yeah, so there was Tim Wilson driving
If
me.
anybody's had an alcoholic beverage, they've probably barfed.
This had nothing to do with alcohol. I had
How about
food
total
poisoning.
total strangers?
Yeah,
Sure.
in the middle of
Vomited
Six
in front of
Flags.
total strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
In the middle of Six
I never
Flags
have.
once.
Yeah, I vomited in front of
Really?
a whole line of people at Little Caesars in Petoskey, Michigan.
Yikes.
St. Patrick's Day, 2015. Oh, yeah. Big party.
Nice.
That's awful.
Where was the Little Caesars, Tom?
In Petoskey.
Everybody do the Michigan ride.
Why?
Everybody likes the Michigan ride.
Who doesn't? So, Kristi, you ever heave-hoed in front of anybody?
Yes.
You ever had a boy hold your hair?
I don't know. Maybe.
You've never been
For vomiting.
You've never been driving the porcelain bus and there's some young fellow holding your hair, thinking, "Boy, this was supposed to be a lot different than this.
No.
I didn't sign
no,
up
no,
for
no.
this."
No.
Who was the
I
guy?
think I threw up in Ace's car, didn't I?
I think so.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
remember back in the 90s.
No, I threw up outside of Ace's car. I didn't throw up in it.
My girlfriend and I were out of town after a concert. We both had a lot of Jaeger that night, and she was in the bowl, and I was in the trash can next to her.
Oh, that's long.
Isn't that sweet?
That's together.
That is nice.
Maybe that story should just ties it right up. doesn't
And
it?
who came up with calling dinosaurs for that product? That's
What?
really good.
What do you call it?
That's what you call vomiting, calling dinosaurs.
You know,
I've never
you're
heard
really sick when you welcome the nice,
Oh.
cool bathroom floor.
Sure.
You're not really attuned to the
feels
E. coli coating that it has.
Feels so good to vomit. I can't wait.
Oh, it does feel good, though,
So
doesn't
this
it?
poor guy on the mound at Yankee Stadium, I feel bad for him. Now, we do have Kristi Lee at the Navy Federal Credit Union news desk, and I certainly enjoyed your quiz. I'd like to do that again sometime.
Okay.
Which was, once again, Kristi attended a bachelorette party, and
Was there a stripper?
No, there was not a stripper.
but you played the game.
We played Dirty Pictionary, though.
What's
These are
dirty?
grown-ass women.
What's Dirty Pictionary?
Well, have you ever played the game Pictionary?
They call it dictionary.
That doesn't work very well, does it?
Because,
So imagine
there is a
if-
dictionary.
Yeah, maybe vaginary.
What if you
Imagine-
open up a dictionary, there's just a bunch of drawings? Hey!
Imagine playing Pictionary, only you're drawing certain activities and people have to guess what you're drawing. And
I see.
Do you use stick figures or?
you can, if you're a good drawer, you don't have to use stick figures.
It's an artichoke.
Yeah, that's an artichoke again.
But we played is it an adult film, porn, or nail polish color? Which
Okay.
porn or polish, which is really surprising.
Yeah, it was amazing. Some of the names I
Yeah.
saved the quiz right here. Some of these you can't tell.
Nope.
I mean, white chocolate, that's a porn, but the thrill of Brazil is nail polish.
Yeah.
Size matters is nail polish.
That one got me.
I'm going to go out and I guarantee you there is a nail polish called white chocolate. There has to be.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, there might be.
It was fun to play porn or polish, but I also found a quiz.
Oh, yeah,
This
what's
is
yours?
porn or Polish. All right. So the first one,
Bowling for sex?
Kowalski fist. Is that a porn or a Polish man? Kowalski fist.
I'm going to go Polish person.
I'm sorry, that's a porn.
That's a Polish.
Stella's bleeding.
Oh, man.
Is that a streetcar joke?
It's a streetcar joke.
So is Stella Polish too, not just Stanley?
You're welcome. Okay, I got a letter here.
Okay.
We were talking about the horrific temperatures in certain parts of the Northwest. This comes to us from Oregon. It's from Chris. He
Hi,
writes,
Chris.
it is hot, ridiculously hot.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
I have no doubt.
It-
We
Get
have
the
some
report.
details. I live in Northeast Oregon near the Columbia River. It was 117 officially.
Wow. That's
Although
hot.
the thermometer at my house said it was only 115. About that time, the air conditioning quit, just like Chick McGee in a sportscast when heckled by Tom. Fortunately,
it was abrupt.
It was just a trip breaker, which continued to trip until the temperature dropped closer to 100.
Ah, man, that's...
Then he goes on to say it was really rough, but he goes, the basement stayed cool. I'm back home and checking on the AC right now. I don't want to end up like the fighter who, quote, balls was hot. Now, I actually happen to have that isolated. I don't know if you remember this, but...
I barely do.
Here we go.
My balls was hot.
My
balls was hot.
There he is saying my balls are hot.
He apparently quit because...
My balls was hot.
Okay, all right.
You know, it is hot in Oregon.
How hot is it?
Oh, it's hot. It's hot. The women in Portland are shaving their armpits.
Hey, that's they're quite progressive over there. Yes.
It's too hot to hold up these protest signs.
Oh, that's hot. That is hot.
Honestly, that's probably right.
Yeah. Hey, look, socialism can wait. Karl Marx never got this hot. Well, Kristi, give me the teaser.
We
got the snake hunk.
Yeah, we got our snake.
What happened?
Okay. All right.
Well, where do you think baby snakes come from?
It's unfortunate that snake ends with a K and hunt ends with an unt.
It really, really is.
Well. I think our work is done.
That is unfortunate.
Snake paws hunt is what we're talking about.
I thought we were going to have the mean lady from the herpetology.
That's hunk.
Oh, here she comes.
We have a hunk and a hunt.
Nasty.
And they all go together.
You see, the state of Florida sanctions the snake hunting.
Hunt.
That's all I hear now. We can't
Gotta get out of here.
All right.
We got good arguments.
Sorry.
We got to come.
Okay,
We have to take a break right now, or I'm going to pee my pants.
Okay. There's a chick. Sorry, Kristen.
She don't care.
Hunt, hunk. They're close.
They are.
Boy, I'm still hearing it.
Snake.
Yep.
Don't say anything until I go this. This is Tom speaking. There's Willie. Patty G's in the next room. We'll get to his new song coming up momentarily.
Biggest laugh we had all
we
day.
have, once again, Kristi is at the Navy Federal Credit Union news desk. Mr. Godwin is in the Oxford Gold Performance Room. Josh Arnold is wearing a gray shirt. Can we get the picture thing done so we can have people vote?
No.
If they prefer. Okay. Fine.
Yes, of course. I'll do it after this.
It's been one of those days. Now, we were talking about a snake hunt, which is sanctioned by the state of Florida because, as you know, the Everglades have been compromised with non-indigenous
Burmese pythons.
critters, and there's some news about that.
Biologists have captured the largest Burmese python ever documented in Florida.
Sorry to bother you.
ABC 7. I don't want to make a mistake.
Kristi gave up.
ABC 7 reports scientists have been tagging and tracking the invasive species for years.
ABC 7.
Where news is a vision of what television news should be.
Thank you.
Ian Bartosik, the environmental science project manager and wildlife biologist for the Conservancy of Southwest Florida.
Wow.
And his team have tagged 80 pythons with radio trackers and have decided to focus on 25 snakes to help facilitate future removal efforts. Well, over 1,000
this is a stupid question. I know. How do they get the
tags on them? They got to catch them first.
Well, yeah, but so and then they let them go. Obviously,
Right.
But are they like bracelets? How do they not fly? Come on.
Like a zip tie or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure, it's probably a shot that they, like a microchip maybe?
They size the snake. They realize how big a bracelet they need.
Wouldn't they do it like a
make it
microchip
nice
like
and
you do
snug.
a
So it's
dog?
that's makes much more. I was envisioning this like the snake going. I've got this necklace on. What the hell?
Well, it's kind of nice. And they put the name of the snake's mom and they put the latitude and longitude of the hospital they were born.
Okay, cool.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Over the 1,000 snakes that have been removed, one female weighed 185 pounds, the largest documented in the state.
That's a big snake.
Team also captured the heaviest male ever documented in the wild at 140 pounds.
It's snakes out there this big?
Ladies and gentlemen, what you've heard, let's give a round of applause for Josh Arnold, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
Ice Cube from
That's
Anaconda.
Ice Cube and Anaconda, everybody.
Go ahead. Email me complaining that I'm doing that voice, and then watch Anaconda and tell me I'm not dead on.
How does it go again?
It's snakes out there this big?
That's it. You nailed it.
It's just like Danny Glover, Angels in the Outfield. There's an angel on your shoulder right now.
Thank you.
Dead on.
Pretty good.
Watch for Chicken Eyes Tour coming up this winter. Voices we have no business doing.
Is it Danny Glover or Ice Cube?
So the giant snake, this one, are they going to put it in a zoo or?
I don't know what they did with it. It doesn't say in my story. I would assume they
maybe they let it go if they're tracking that one.
No, because the women pythons,
the lady snakes,
can have a lot of babies. They don't want the women snakes out there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this is scary. Now, this leads to a smaller but more scary snake.
Yes, where in North Carolina, folks are being warned to be on the lookout for a venomous snake on the loose in Raleigh. According to police, an animal control officer was called to a home in northwest Raleigh for a report of a live zebra cobra snake spotted on a resident's porch. The snake had already slithered away by the time the officer arrived, but they learned that a zebra cobra was missing from a home in the area.
Another cop did find the snake, but the snake slipped out of the handcuff.
I mean, that is...
Am I the only one that thinks that's funny?
I think it's funny.
Sir, put your tail behind your back.
Chuckling? It's very funny.
Venomous snakes, for those of you who don't know, are legal to own in the state of North Carolina,
That's
but
nice.
must be kept in escape-proof, bite-proof enclosures, and owners must notify law enforcement if one escapes.
Scary. These are scary.
The zebra cobra looks just like a zebra.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
The Raleigh Police Department sent out a notice urging anyone who sees the missing zebra cobra to stay away and call 911.
And these babies spit some kind of venom or poison. I don't know.
Yeah. If they loved you more, they'd swallow it. But
Yeah, true.
I think people that own stuff like this, they
Don't
should
turn
be,
your head.
They should be in like a sex offender registry. So you can...
you have to go door to door?
Yes, you can find out. By the way, the guy 4 doors down owns a snake. If it gets out, it could kill your kids.
You're exactly right. You should have to register exotic pets. I'm totally on board with that.
Well, it says you have to here.
But